In December 2013, Taggart-Miller Environmental Services organized their 5th open house for their proposed development of a new landfill site with a recycling facility in rural eastern Ottawa in the community of Carlsbad Springs. On the same week, 2 information sessions were organized, one by the Taggart-Miller Group to explain their project to the community, and one by the Capital Region Citizens Coalition for the Protection of the Environment. Locally, the organization uses the Dump the Dump 2 campaign to explain their concerns regarding the proposed facility. The showdown started in July 2013.
People around here are on a trickle water system, right? Okay? Now, that means that you have very little water. And I know because I'm a plumber. So, and the fact of the matter is that when these folks start operating, if they start operating, as far as I'm concerned, they never will.
In 2013, Taggart-Miller Environmental Services completed a comparative evaluation of the 2 sites being considered for the Capital Region Resource Recovery Centre, or CRRRC. The Boundary Road site has been identified as the preferred site for the CRRRC over another site in Russell Township. According to the Taggart-Miller Group, the proposed multi-million-dollar green industrial development would provide Eastern Ontario with a leading-edge diversion facility that addresses the critical need for better recycling, composting, and environmental stewardship. A Taggart-Miller representative indicated that the primary focus of the proposed centre is resource recovery and diversion of materials away from disposal.
This open house is really based on presenting to the community the work that we've been carrying out over the last few months in regard to the environmental assessment. There's been a lot of field work that's been carried out, and that work is to allow us to prepare some assessments on potential environmental impacts, and also to look at how these impacts might be mitigated.
To divert materials away from disposal as much as possible, Taggart-Miller also indicated that it is committed to providing the industrial, commercial, and institutional and construction and demolition diversion capacity that is currently lacking in Eastern Ontario. Aware that they are walking on eggshells with their proposal, it has not received a favorable review from area residents.
All of that has been possible because the community's been supporting us, because they've come out and helped us when we've needed it, and so together we're moving ahead. We also provided a bit of history of the fight so far, and also the site, what's gone on in the past, and the situation right now, just for people to get the scope of this. This is a very large project. We're not talking about some small little thing that could be ignored. This is the biggest landfill proposal in the city by far. It's 4 times bigger than anything else that's on the table, and it deserves all of our attention.
Additionally, during every open house, Taggart-Miller has hired police officers to greet residents inside the lobby where their events have been held. Taggart-Miller Environmental Services indicated that the police presence has been in place for their personal safety, as they have indicated that a couple of employees received threats on their lives, a clear indication that the planned facility is not popular with the community and its homeowners. During the December 2013 Taggart-Miller Open House, members of the Dump the Dump 2 group took the time to read a note publicly and give this note to Mr. Ian Taggart directly to let him know that the project is not wanted by local residents.
Pollution hit.
Another dump for Ottawa. The stats show there's no need. The only benefit to anyone is the fueling of your greed.
And that's money.
Unwilling host communities are Edwards and Carlsbad Springs. It's now the time for Taggart-Miller to move on to other things.
Do yourself a favor and move on. Here's a copy of the little document. Enjoy. I'm telling you, this is not a threat. We don't want to have that dump.
The Dump the Dump 2 campaign, managed by the Capital Region Citizens Coalition for the Protection of the Environment, is a local community group that was formed in 2012 and is comprised of volunteers from Carlsbad Springs, Vars, Edwards, and surrounding areas. It has a different opinion on the issue and recently organized a community meeting to inform residents about their concerns. They also share their research during ongoing community forums with the residents held at the Carlsbad Springs Community Centre.
We also were very lucky this evening to have a representative from Councillor Blais' office and also from South Nation Conservation. They were able to send two representatives who graciously fielded questions from the public. And what I learned from that is that the public has questions. The public, it's a very large and confusing process around environmental approvals. The public doesn't fully understand it, neither do we. What is the role of South Nation? Where can they get involved and where can't they get involved? Because if you look at the proponents' material, you'll see references to South Nation. It sounds like they have a big role and that they've, kind of supporting it. But when you hear from their representatives, you realize that their role is really held back because this is a provincial issue and they are limited at what stage they can speak and what stage they can get involved. So they haven't approved it. No one has approved this project.
One major clarification that the Dump the Dump 2 group would like to make is that while Taggart-Miller promotes the CRRRC as primarily a recycling and diversion facility, the largest component of the project is a landfill, where 87% of the incoming waste is to be dumped and only 13% diverted or recycled. Taggart-Miller has indicated that they plan to augment this latest component in the future, but there are no guarantees.
And we will continue to follow what we have committed to do through the terms of reference.
One pending question relates to the need for additional disposal capacity for the capital region. The Dump the Dump 2 group has studied and confirms that the region currently has sufficient existing disposal capacity. The residents question why this facility is needed. In Eastern Ontario, we have sufficient capacity existing, and other waste operators have already implemented recycling and diversion facilities similar to what is being proposed by Taggart-Miller, without requiring an additional landfill component. Carlsbad Springs was known for its spas and also for the healing power of its famous springs back in the late 1800s. Although it has lost this historical element, it still keeps the beauty of being a quiet, rural community situated minutes from downtown Ottawa. The preferred site would be situated just south of the historical village of Carlsbad Springs. It would also be across a golf course and beside agricultural land. During consultation with residents, the community has told the Carlsbad Springs Community Association that they do not support this project, and many have serious concerns when it comes to the installation of this new facility. There are approximately 3,400 residents, up to 1,300 homes that are situated near the proposed site.
We already know that the City of Ottawa cannot sustain this waste alone and what they're going to need. Let me put it into perspective. If I take one of the sites, we have 5 major landfills in the surrounding area, La Flèche and Moose Creek being one of them in the general area. They are today licensed to bring in 750,000 tons a year. They're bringing in less than half of that. They're bringing in 350,000 tons a year. Okay? So to make up, they're bringing in some trash from outside. Put this landfill in here. The only way we're going to be able to sustain the beast is by bringing trash in from the Bellevilles, GTA, and other areas in Ontario.
The site is comprised of 450 acres, of which approximately 70% is forest, such as mature trees, flora, fauna, creeks, brooks, streams, and significant wetlands. Of the 450 acres, 16% is agriculture, with a small portion zoned industrial along Boundary Road. The proposed site is mostly covered by forested bog and significant woodlot, and surrounded by ecologically sensitive and protected natural areas, such as the Cumberland Forest, the Bear Brook headwaters, and Shaw's Creek, which flows through the western edge of the village of Vars. These are natural features within or adjacent to the existing NCC Greenbelt. The site itself was assessed for protection status in 1994.
Hey, hey, ho, ho! The dump has got to go!
Hey, hey, ho, ho! You bet. Taggart trash, no way. Taggart trash, go away.
The Dump 2 campaign has voiced their concerns regarding the Taggart-Miller initiative, by organizing various community meetings and demonstrations. One frustration, according to the group, is that Taggart-Miller has not shown to residents that they are willing to listen to their concerns and to let the community question their proposal and their intentions. Many residents are questioning the long-term effect of the project and also the impact on the environment.
We have not planned or contemplated having a town hall meeting. It's not incorporated in the process that is approved.
The softness of the deep, weak clay soil makes the site unstable for a large, weighty structure such as a landfill. The site is in an area of high seismic risk, and the soil at the site is classed as the most vulnerable during seismic events. The increased shaking during an earthquake can result in liquefaction of the Leda clay. Leda clay is a unique form of sensitive glacio-marine clay with the tendency to change from a relatively stiff condition to a liquid mass when it is disturbed due to an earthquake or induced stress. Taggart-Miller Environmental Services has offered only open house events, answering questions on individual basis and through a variety of billboard signs instead of a community forum format, where residents would be able to ask questions to a panel, share their concerns and issues, and debate and discuss the impact of their project on the community.
Councillor Blais' representative made that very clear as well, that the councillor is very, very concerned about this. He doesn't appreciate the fact that the comments the city put together weren't taken into account, weren't addressed properly. They have serious concerns, as do we. And so the councillor has put forward a letter of support for our position, a letter to the Minister of the Environment in Toronto, stating his concerns and stating that he supports our position as a community who is not willing to host this. And we appreciate all of that. We've also received a letter of support from the Vars Community Association and also from the Osgood Ward Community Associations, all of them understanding the struggle that we're in and standing with us and supporting us. So it's very good. I feel very good about where the community is at with this right now.
Also, one question that no one can answer is, where will all the garbage come from? We currently have sufficient landfill capacity in the Ottawa region to meet our needs, so with yet another landfill, the garbage has to be coming from somewhere. The proposed catchment area for the CRRRC project extends down to Belleville, and rumor has it that Taggart-Miller would like to send some of the garbage to Eastern Ontario from the Toronto and Southern Ontario region. Under the current proposal, which is provincially regulated, this is a likely option for the future facility.
Well, I think in the boards you'll see that there are benefits to the project. There are benefits in terms of employment, in terms of industrial development, in terms of benefits to the community, and the community meaning the established communities that are neighbors of our site. I think that there will be more detail on what those benefits will be. Also, there's been some concern about property values, and we are prepared to guarantee the value of properties should people feel that the presence of our operations has had an impact on that value. We will implement a mechanism to make sure that no one is impacted financially by our presence.
At the various events organized by the Dump the Dump 2 committee, residents have worried that the proposed landfill will compromise the rural area and will affect the quality of water, the air, and the environment, just to name a few common concerns. Many clearly indicated that it will have a major impact on future generations and the vitality of their community. The Capital Region Citizens Coalition for the Protection of the Environment, known locally as Dump the Dump 2, will continue their push to make sure their concerns are shared at all levels with the community, with the municipality, and the provincial governments. They currently have 150 volunteers and have recently received a grant of $50,000 from the City of Ottawa to aid with their campaign. This funding is being used to hire the expertise of a geologist, a hydrogeologist, and biologists. They have also organized a variety of fundraising events to help them fund their ongoing research and awareness campaigns. This project could also have an influence on neighboring communities such as Edwards, Vars in the eastern end of Ottawa, and the town of Russell, especially on the water quality issues, higher traffic volume, and the environment. 2014 will bring more debates and more emotional meetings where the two parties involved will go head-to-head in this battle. The process is still very long, and the Taggart-Miller Group indicated that they hope their facility will be operational by 2017. Both City of Ottawa Cumberland Councillor Stephen Blais and Osgood Ward Councillor Doug Thompson have stated their opposition to the project. The final decision rests with the Ministry of the Environment, and the Minister will make the decision after a review of the various environmental reports on the Taggart-Miller proposal.